Okay, I am going to make a preparation of these cottonwood buds. I have a video that I made separately showing how I harvested them and kind of explaining them some. So I just wanted to show how I'm going to process them. You can see here that I'm going to be using MCT oil made from coconut oil. So it's a microfractionated coconut oil. And the reason I like this is because coconut is just simply a clean ingredient. And MCT oil is basically, it's split out from other elements within the coconut oil, but it's just coconut for the ingredients. That's all that it is coconut. But regular coconut oil solidifies, and since it solidifies, it can be difficult to use for making oil-based extracts. So the MCT oil, it stays liquid, so that is going to work well for extracting the resins out of this. And when I talk about resins, what I'm talking about is there's resinous compounds. You can see, I hope it shows up in the video, how shiny this is. That's because the resins in it, there's so many resins that they're permeating the leaves, and there's resin inside of this. Look at that, I just squeezed it and you can see that on my finger. And anyway, resins are oil-based. So if I was to take these and try to put them into a water-based solution, it would do nothing. As we know, water and oil don't mix. So water would just sit in the jar, these would sit in the jar, and it would not extract the resins out of these leaf buds at all. So since we are dealing with resinous compounds, we're going to mix it with oil. So let's just do this. I've got my handy dandy little jar. And sorry for all the movement here. Just going to use this, it makes it easier to get everything into the jar. And we're just going to fill this jar with these cottonwood buds. Now if I was to do this in a glass container, all of this resin, or I mean in a plastic container, all of the resin would, I'm afraid that it would bind more than I want it to the glass, or to to the plastic container. So, and glass is just so much cleaner anyway. There's no concerns with toxicity when it comes to glass, whereas plastic has different concerns of toxicity. So there we have it, and we'll set this aside. Now we just simply take the oil, pour it over. There should be enough oil to cover all of these. Yep. They're all covered. You can see that there's some air bubbles working their way up through here. So we want to get rid of those air bubbles. Shaking it around helps to get the air bubbles out and gets the buds to settle down a little further into the oil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a cabinet and allow it to just sit in a dark cabinet for 6 to 8 weeks. During that time, this oil is going to be pulling the resin out of the buds. And what was a clear oil is going to turn like a dark gold, kind of a red color. So and that's what we're after. After 6 to 8 weeks, so basically a month and a half to 2 months, then I will be able to strain this out and keep just the oil, and then the plant matter can be discarded, and it is the oil that we're after, and it will have extracted all of that resin, and then the oil would contain the medicinal properties of the resin. So now I just need to lid it tightly. I always put a little thing of like plastic cling wrap over the top, and then I lid it just to make sure it doesn't leak at all. But that's basically all there is to it. Lid it tightly, put it in a dark cabinet. It does need to be away from light if possible. So dark cabinet, 6 to 8 weeks, and then it will be a finished extraction.